Hey, what's up, guys? It's Big Blue Breakdown. Gabe on the team here with you today, bringing you any Kentucky news, anything from Kentucky basketball, football, baseball, anything like that. I can cover it. Anything from this year's, fallen team of baseball to the great year that we had in basketball, even though we came short. Anything like that, I'll be able to discuss it. All you have to do is leave a comment below, and I'll answer it. So for right now, the big topic has been the Folly Dante on whether or not he would reclassify instead of the Kerry Blackshear Jr. transfer. That's been the big topic of discussion and something we've been waiting on, but I think he has until July 14th or something like that to decide whether he's going to reclassify or if he's going to stay in the class of 2020, which is my class. I'm only 17. So another thing is today is Keldon Johnson's first game in action. So I'll be checking in on that. So as of right now, the Spurs are down to the Cavs, 54-55 on a timeout. Keldon was getting playing time the last time I checked on the way home, but nonetheless, he's in the NBA. Great for them. Summer League started today, so I'll also be checking in with the other guys, leaving some posts here and there about that. But mainly, I'll be here about N'Faly Dante. So besides him and us waiting on where if he's gonna, pick Kentucky to reclassify, anything like that, or if he'll even reclassify and go to another school, that craziness. We're waiting on that. But what I see it as is that nobody knows yet. It's a toss-up. Like, the guy hardly knows English, so somebody like that, I find it hard to reclassify considering English is a second language. So that not only, has him on a struggle on the court because he doesn't really understand much, or not even that he doesn't understand much, or to the context that other people do on that level. I also think that he struggles because he's losing a year of that academics and being able to gain that knowledge on English and also become a bit more fluent in that. So for right now, I really don't think he reclassifies into the class of 2019. I think he stays in the class of 2020. But nonetheless, he will be playing college basketball. I think it will be Kentucky 2019 or 2020. Another thing is football season is coming up soon. Hopefully, our team can have just as good a season as last year. Although we don't have that main guy right now besides Terry Wilson, I hope that he can step up and throw the ball. Also, something that happened not too long ago, Khalil Branham picks Kentucky over Michigan. So that was a great thing on us. We were rolling the dice. So Branham what I saw earlier was that he was originally committed to the Michigan Wolverines. But after visiting the spring game on his unofficial visit for Kentucky, he reopened his recruitment. He also held offered from Baylor, Louisville, Kentucky, and Indiana, among other schools. So that's a good pickup on us. Third recruit from the Buckeye State to pick Kentucky, Christie, yes, I think he will get pushed to reclassify. I don't necessarily think that he will because considering like another year for him to get better, he's already number 11 in his class. But for him to rejoin, or for him not to rejoin, to gain that stock, build his stock, everything like that, it can be very beneficial for him as well as learning that English, everything like that. So that's one topic. Another topic is with basketball. I honestly think that although we will win a title, I think it's completely unrealistic to go 40-0 because, the non-conference schedule that Kentucky plays, I think this year we play against Michigan State. That's a hard one. Very, very hard game, especially one of the first games we have. I don't know what else the schedule holds. With Brad transferring, I think it's good for Brad. What I think is, he's been 2 years under his dad. He used those 2 eligibility years because he's played in at least 5 games each season. So while we never got to see much of Brad. I think he actually goes over to that school. I think he actually plays, and I think he does well. Very, very excellent for him. He wanted to be a coach. He got that experience under his dad at a very high level. Not many guys, have that pedigree, that resume that he now has. So for him to be able to get the transfer, is he eligible? Is he eligible immediately? Let me see. Come on. If Brad, I know he chose to play for Detroit Mercy. And I accidentally agree, Michael. I think he could have been a better player, but okay, so he is immediately eligible. I don't know if I would have wanted him to do it 2 years, or maybe he could have just redshirted the 2 years and not played and been able to transfer and get those minutes, because right now he's down to 2 years left to prove himself, even though he's hardly played the 2 years he was here. I think in the total, it's definitely under 20 games that Brad has appeared in. We haven't seen much Brad, like I've said. So I think now is his time to finally shine. So that's definitely what I think. So for him to have 2 more years and be eligible immediately. So, yep. All right, in the Big 12, hold on. In the Big 12, I think Coach picks, but I don't think we're playing against Kansas again. We may, or even West Virginia. It depends how their season is going. I have no idea, but I know when the schedule comes out later this month, I think it releases the 15th. We'll be able to see. I think it's Texas Tech, honestly, considering the season they had, and that they're still a very good team. They're still very experienced, even from this past year. Losing Jared Culver, who was a top 10 pick in the draft, losing a couple other players for graduation. I still think they are a very strong team, and that would be a good game for our guys to really sink their teeth in on what can really happen. Ohio State, Utah, that's not necessarily a hard game, but it's going to be one that's you're going to have to try to actually win. I think the Michigan States, the Louisvilles, those games, those are the ones that are always hard to win. Those are the games that mean something. Those are the games that you need to prove yourself. So while for our guys, it might just be a little, we're playing against Utah, you still have to try. Whether in regards, I want to play Kansas, probably not. Not even because of the good slate of games and the tough schedule that we have, but because of everything that goes on. So every single game that we played against Kansas, there's been some bad blood, which is also very good. But that's bad because now emotions are in there and somebody can get hurt. So that's how I see it. Also, along with that now, with the good slate of games that we have, there's going to be a lot of traveling. So not all of our games are going to be all the way, they're not all going to be in Kentucky. We're going to have to travel. So Michigan State, that's neutral site considering it's the Champions Classic. Do we play against North Carolina this year for is it Carolina or UCLA for I forget the name, for the CBS Sports Classic? It's going to be UCLA because we just played them this year. And I know that's a every other year type of thing. Oh, no, it's actually Ohio State. Got me messed up. Yep, it's Ohio State. I remembered that. Okay, are you sure, Brandon, that the Big 12 Challenge is Texas Tech? I hope it is. It's a very good game. Right, so like seeing that, Billy, I definitely see that Utah and Ohio State are both in Vegas. So Vegas is not close to Kentucky. And you're also right. It's Ohio State in a sports classic. I caught that, I was like, wait a minute. It's every 3 years that we play these teams. So I recognize that. As of right now, the Spurs are up. Since that's Keldon Johnson's team, I'll be speaking some on them too. They're up 65-63 with a minute left in the third. As well as Luka Samanic, the first pick, 19th pick. He's playing pretty well. I think he was a good pickup for them. Keldon Johnson, he's doing good for a first game. Still got to sink his feet into the water, but I definitely don't think there's another team that fits better than this one. With PJ and the Hornets so far, I don't know. I think that they're dead in the water considering that Kemba Walker left and signed with the Celtics. So that's what I'm kind of seeing from this. Yeah. So, anybody have any questions in here? Let me check Keldon. I've seen a couple makes from Keldon. I'm going to check right now. All right. So, Keldon Johnson right now, he's got 4 points on 12 minutes, 1 for 2 shooting. Not too bad. He's got a rebound, which is an offensive rebound, got the putback, but he's also got 2 turnovers. So, you know how coaches are. He's got a plus-minus of -8. So, not too bad considering it's his first game, first showing, but he's got to step up. Any other questions? It can be about football, anything. I think that Kentucky football is going to have a very good year. I don't know if we can expect the caliber that we had last year, considering the team that we had last year. But I definitely think that our quarterback, Allen, he's got to step up and throw the ball. Last year, it was absolutely horrendous when he went to throw the ball. He couldn't throw. So Benny was getting 30, 35 carries a game, and he was getting tired. So, by the end of games, he wouldn't have those big breakout runs in the tank. And it would show coming down that later stretch, like the Florida game. He was absolutely carrying the team. So that's what I think. That's what I gotta say on that. As well as that, with Tyler Hero, I think he's also in a very great fit. I think that the Heat, they're gonna have a good season. He could be in the running for Rookie of the Year, if he can come through and score the ball, shoot the way we know he can shoot, get into the lane and score the way we know that he can score. I think those are all things that he does and that we all know he does well. I don't think there's a guy that I've seen that really has that shot drive combo that he had. So that's also what I think. So with that said, some things that these guys need to develop. PJ, he's going to have to develop ball handling. Can anybody else attest to that? I think that PJ is going to have to work on those ball handling because he's no longer, that manly power forward and everything. I think now he has to be a small power forward. So he's going to play the same role that Zion Williamson is going to play. Another thing is his back to the basket game. As great as it is, as great as, his back to the basket is, he's going to have to get a quicker first step. That's the same problem with Reed. He's signed, he's getting, his thing with the Hawks. He's going to play for them. He's going to try out in the summer league, see if he can, stay on the team, get that contract, everything like that. If he's able to get that quicker first step and develop a shot, I think Reed can become, on that PJ Washington type of player. I don't expect him to dunk the ball all the time, but I think he can become a smaller version of, LaMarcus Aldridge, not very athletic, but very skilled. One that can score, one that can rebound, pass, all of that, handle the ball. I see that out of him and out of PJ. Now, out of Keldon, I don't really think there's a player that you can compare him to besides Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard, when he first came in the league, obviously he was drafted higher, but nonetheless a great player at that. And I think that Keldon can develop into that while he's with the Spurs and that he can become that dominant player. Keldon, we've seen it at Tennessee. He has the ability to take over games. We've seen it against Kansas. We've seen it all. He has the ability to take over games. So if he can get into that groove, that little rhythm, make one shot, get a stop, I think he can do that. But what he needs to work on is his speed. That needs to get there. So, shot release, that has to get faster. His running has to get there. His defensive strides have to get there. I think that's what he has to work on if he's going to become a force in the league. He definitely can compete, and we've seen that he is that competitor. Even with the Duke game, he was the one still playing hard to come on, we can get back into this. Although we knew that we weren't going to get back into this. Harsh one, but that was true when there's 12 minutes left and you're down 28. That's the kind of guy that he is. He doesn't give up, and I absolutely love that. But his lateral quickness is not there, and he's a bit slow for his size. So he's also got one of the problems that Reed and PJ have. They're a little bit heavy-footed, but with his enthusiasm, he's also playing for the best organization on the planet, best developmental team. So I think that by the beginning of the season, start preseason basketball, not summer league, but preseason basketball, I think that we can see a Keldon Johnson that we haven't seen. He's been a strong guy, not very cut. I think we can see him shed some weight, put on some muscle and balance himself out, get that more muscle balance, and become an absolute monster. I think that's what we can see. Another person who else got drafted? We have Herro, Washington, Reed. Okay, I don't know what position do you guys think that Reed will be playing when he's in the league? What position do you see him playing? As well as Keldon and Tyler. Do you think Tyler's he's gonna play a 2-3? Do you think sometimes he's gonna have to step out and handle the ball? What do you guys think about that one? I want to know. So leave a comment below. You can talk about it. Do you think that Keldon's going to play a 3 or 4, a 2, 3? Do you think PJ's sometimes going to have to play the 5, like he did in college? What do you guys think? I think Herro, just seeing this now, I definitely think that Herro is a good prospect for Rookie of the Year. Not just because he's from Kentucky. That obviously gives everybody an advantage, considering Jamal Murray signed that huge contract for $150 million plus. I also think that, he's going to have some things to work on, but I don't see anybody with a bigger upside with it. So considering that, he's going to have to work on his ball handling because, in college, he was always working off of screens. He was always, coming off of them and shooting. He'll be coming off a back cut, And while those work in the league, the game is the people there are so much bigger and more spread out. Passes have more of a distance to go places. So do I see him operating off the screen all the time? No. I don't think he can get a shot off over a 7-footer. So I don't really see him getting a shot off over Enes Kanter, coming off that screen on that hard hedge. Because that's how teams are going to pick him up, quite frankly. They're going to play a hard hedge. They're going to, try to run him off the 3-point line. They know he can shoot, considering at the Boston Celtics trial or his workout, he went 80 for 100. That's 80%. Nobody shoots 80%. Some guys in the league can't even do that with free throws. Considering, like LeBron, greatest player on the planet, he can't do that. So for him to be able to come off and do that's one thing that's amazing, absolutely mind-blowing. I think if he can get his ball handling up, he won't have to just shoot the ball. He can go to the basket like he's used to doing, except instead of going off the screen, he'll now be able to create his own shot, which is something we haven't seen of Tyler. We haven't seen him take a step back, make a shot. We haven't seen that out of him. We haven't seen him take anybody to the rack and take a floater on somebody. It's always been off a screen, off a handoff, anything like that. So I think that's one thing that he can definitely work on. Reed has a potential to be more versatile. But I think he may have to run three positions considering he's 6'9". He can, if a team plays small ball, they want to play a little faster, he can do that. If they want to play with as if they have a big man or there's some foul trouble or injury, he can come in and he can do that. He cleans the glass. He's so strong. I'm sure he could have went to the NFL if he felt like it. Be a lineman, D-back, something like that. He's a physical monster. There's one thing to see him on TV, but to see him in person, I have a couple times. The dude he's a big dude. He's built like Nate Sestina, bigger than him. So for a larger than life guy like him to come off and I think that for him to play the 5, it's going to be a stretch. He's going to have to be able to shoot the ball for his advantage. So we've seen sometimes he's come off, he would hit it with a pump fake, hesitate, and then shoot the ball again if nobody stepped up. Now, while that works in college because people won't step up, the NBA is a different thing. You're getting paid for this. So he's going to have to be able to shoot the ball. Scouts have also said that his his first step isn't the fastest. And we know it's not. Reed isn't beating anybody off the dribble. It's like racing the fat kid. You're always going to win. So he's got to get faster. He's got to be able to handle the ball, be able to put it on the ground and get to the basket. He can't stand at the block, do a one dribble. He can't do that in the NBA anymore. For those who missed it, we also spoke about Keldon Johnson. His first game, he's not too good, not too bad. Hasn't played the most productive minutes as so far, but he'll get there. He's in the best team on the league, for developing players, so he'll get better. Right now he's 2 for 5 from the line, which isn't good. Being an NBA player, you have to make those free throws, and like we were saying, with Heroes, him being impressive with his shooting. That's also another area that Keldon can work on. So that's consistency. We've seen that some games he's been 5 for 8. Other times he's been 3 for 11. He can't do that in the NBA. He won't last very long if that's what it comes down to. You have to be able to score the ball at will. You have to be able to take over games. You've got to be able to look and see the floor past the ball, which isn't his problem. He does a great job with that. So I think we're all going to be good. Kentucky football, I'm calling it. We're going 11-2, and we're winning the SEC. We're going to beat Georgia. Bring them on. I don't really care who they bring on, but we're going to win this year. If you guys had to pick one team that SEC schedule, who do you think would give us the toughest time on the floor? So, not who can beat us, because anybody you step on the floor with can beat you. It's more of a who can give us that tough challenge, like Florida always does, like Texas A&M always does. Those are always the toughest teams. Who do you guys feel as though would give us that problem, or even ask any questions about anything? Anything you guys think? Some other stuff on recruitment. I don't think we should be number 2 or number 3. I think we should be that number 1, honestly. Screw Kansas, because they don't have a better team than we do. A bunch of freshmen, all those 5 stars, while those are great and while you have a good coach, our coach is also better. And we play in the tougher conference. So don't be surprised if you see come tournament time, come anything, or even come if we were to play Kansas. If they have a better record than us, don't be scared. The Big 12 is good, nowhere near as deep as the SEC. So, Texas A&M, they never have any name brand guys, but they always have those seniors and those big men who know how to hoop. Florida, they're going to be a problem considering they have now the big 3 with Kerry Blackshear in the middle of it. He knows how to get bigs into foul trouble. And coming through this past season, our bigs were always in foul trouble. So I think that's a problem that can happen this year because, Nick, he was on the skinny side. EJ was on the skinny side. So our guys, I think since they're bulking up and now we have Sestina, I don't see it happening this year. They won't get bodied. So I don't see foul trouble from these guys being a problem unless they're jumping on pump fakes. So here or there, you're going to jump. You're going to get caught on some. Every single time like Nick used to do, that can't happen. Khalil Whitney had said we would be a defensively smarter team, and I think we are. We will be. We've got a bunch of defensive monsters on our team. We've got so much length, so much experience. Not even just length. We've got size. We've got 2 7-footers that could potentially be starting. You've got Nick. You've got EJ. You've got Sestina, who could even come off and start. All the depth that we have on his team, I think is going to really help. So, because defense is tiring. You're always running. I play basketball. It's tiring. So, with that being said, being able to rotate guys in, keep guys fresh, now you're slowing down the time that it takes for you to get exhausted, the time that it takes for you to get more tired. So, now you have a bunch of motivated guys. They all want to get on the floor. They all want to get a part of it. When they get on, it's just complete animals. You got all the kamikazes on there and all that stuff going on. So what I think is, my prediction, our team goes 35-5. Don't know who we would lose to, but I know that 35-5, considering 26-5 as a regular season record, very, very impressive. Teams lose. Duke, every team is going to have Stefan, who is who? Who does who play for? Are you talking about me or are you talking about like Nick, EJ, stuff like that? I played for Pro Scholar Athletics last year in the EYBL circuit. This year, I've decided not to, considering I go to a boarding school. Here's my room. So I go to a boarding school, so I don't really I'm on a strict schedule, so I can't do the traveling that I used to from then. So right now I'm playing for United down here in the Harrisburg, Hershey area. We'll still play against EYBL teams, UAA. I played for We Are One, transferred to this school here. That's what I say. Right now my team is 33-7. So, yep. I definitely can get on board with 35-5. I don't even care if it's 29-11. As long as our guys are okay, maybe 29-11, that's bothersome because I don't go to sleep happy when our team loses. So that's what I say. 35-5, 33-7, somewhere around there. That's where I predict our guys to be. Better than last year's team, definitely. Last year's team was we were good on defense, but considering now that we have bigger guys, stronger guys, faster guys, I think that we can definitely be better than last year's team. I think they only had 8 losses, so I think we topped that. Or even, I think if our team caps out, they have the potential to go forward, But potential isn't guaranteed, and teams always, they slip up. They turn the ball over 15 times in a game. They'll take 33s, which, again, is not Calipari play style, nor is it these guys' play style. They can shoot the ball, but that's not the way that they want to play. They want to bang you up down low, Play the inside-out game. Take 20 seconds off the shot clock. Get the steal on defense. Like, their main offense is on the defensive end. With that being said, I think our team is going to have the number 1 defense in the nation, not points per game wise, like Michigan, because they play so slow and they run 35 or 30 seconds off the shot clock, 25 to 30 every single time up and down. So do I see us giving up 54 points per game? No. But I also don't see us struggling as hard as we did battling on with the 3-point barrage, that VMI gave us, they're not even a bottom 50, they're a bottom 30 school in the country. I have no idea how the heck they gave us a hard time from the 3-point line. So I think we're going to have a better time defending that and coming off the screens and preventing the threes, hedging, all of that, and managing our defense. And on offense, I say we turn the ball over a lot less, as the season progressed this year, against Houston. I think there was the first half, we only had 5 turnovers. That's pretty good. A team that turns it over 10 or less times, they're going to win the game in 40 minutes. If you turn the ball over once every 4 or 5 minutes, you can live with that because, it's normally smart turnovers. Another thing is that Ashton, returning the second year, he didn't play well against Auburn at all in that last game. I know he remembers that. So he'll be the guy to step up. He's going to know. So if somebody turns the ball over, hey, you're fine. He's had 5 turnover games before. Emmanuel Quickly, he's had 5 turnover games before too. Hell, even Nick has. All of our guys, I think we're going to be perfectly fine. I think they're all going to be great. I won't expect them to be the sharpest team in the country, on the first day. I won't expect them to be number 1 for the first couple of weeks. I don't even like being number 1. I just like to stay around the top 10, 12 teams because when the higher you get, the harder everyone's shot, the more that you're on the media, which is one thing our guys don't need. You don't want to be on the media all the time like Duke was. That's a downfall for the team because the expectations get high. And with those expectations also comes hype. So guys start getting fueled up. So that's what I think. So I don't really like being the number 1 team because of the media purposes. In 14, the media was different. Even in 15, the media was different. It was still always Duke on TV. So that's what I think about that. I'm ready for some football too, I'm ready to get down. I want to see what Terry Wilson can do this year. Can he throw the ball? That's the only improvement I could say, besides obviously his vision because he couldn't throw the ball. He had to scramble a lot, take some hits, pitch the ball, flick it, do those things to Benny Snell or even throw some wild ones into the crowd to get out of that pressure. But if he can throw the ball, that becomes open field now. He's able to find a wide open guy. We've got good receivers. We've got freshmen who are able to step up. So if on the football side, yeah, I'm definitely ready. Kentucky football, it's not always the best guys. Smoke, he's good. He's tough. Definitely. I can't wait to see what he brings. This year, the football team never has any hype around it, but we're gonna break top 25 before week 3. That's what I think. So I even say Kentucky football slides into the 12-10 range. I also don't see us losing to Louisville in our game. I don't see us losing to Toledo. No teams like that. We really don't have that hard of a schedule. I also want to get a winning streak going against Florida. I hate Florida. Honestly, I say our team this year, easier schedule, definitely than last year's, considering we don't have Georgia on the team. So, Toledo, Missouri, they gave us a tough time, but I think we beat them this year around 25-7, something like that. Vanderbilt, they didn't give us a hard time. All of these schools, I think that we got them. All of these matchups that we have are unranked as of right now. But there's not a team that I'm seeing on here that is going to be better than us. So, Mississippi State, they got the better end of us last year. No, that was Texas A&M. They got the better end of us last year. We almost had them. We went to overtime with them, and we messed up, and we lost. Tennessee Martin, nope, not happening. Louisville, not happening. Tennessee, not happening again, even though we got absolutely demolished this guy. None of that's going to happen. That's my side on the football. For Keon Brooks, he's definitely the real deal. The guy can do it all. He can jump, he can shoot, defend. I don't know if we're going to have necessarily – I can see him being a leading scorer, but I don't see us having this big margin. Like this past year was P.J. Washington and then everybody else. I don't see us being that way this year. I say Sestina can come off the bench and give us a smooth 10 points. EJ can bring in another 8. Nick, another 10, 12. Ashton Hagens can bring you 14. Emmanuel Quickly, 10 or 12. I see us having things like that, and eventually some games here and there, you'll have a 20 or a 30-point game where some guy is just hot, like Tyler Hero. Some games he was consistently giving you 10, 12, 14 points, but some games he would go off for 25 or 30. So for that being said, I think Kentucky basketball definitely has all the options because there's no guy that can't play offense and can't play defense. So not even just along with that, we don't have as many freshmen as we used to. So you've had guys who have been there before. Nate Sestina's been in the tournament, although he hasn't been on a winning side of one. He's played against tough teams. He lost to Michigan State. Then Michigan State went on to lose to Syracuse. Just the tournament before this past one. That was the first one. Also played against West Virginia in the tournament 2 years back. Again, those are tough teams. And the dude held his own against North Carolina last season as well. So I think that he matches up well because even when he was on a mid-major, he still played well. So he's been in a tournament. He knows what it's like to play against those tough teams, those better teams, those veteran teams who've got it together for them. He knows about that. He also knows how to play basketball. He's got a good head on him. He's went to Bucknell. He's got to have a good head on him. Nate is definitely going to surprise a lot. I absolutely agree. Another guy who also think is going to surprise a lot, Nick. He might not have done much, but the dude is learning. He's put on about 20 pounds since he's come to Kentucky. EJ, he played well. I think all these guys are going to play smart. Nick, he's raw. He can face up and give you a spin move. Now he's dunking it. He can jump, rebound. He's stronger than what he looks. Now he's a lot stronger. He's put on 10, 15 pounds since the off season. I've seen it. All these guys they're gonna be great. And does anybody have any? So for my final thoughts, if anybody has any questions, you can leave them down below. I'll answer them. But my final thoughts are Kentucky football. I wouldn't be surprised if they had an undefeated season. Bring on UCF. Bring them on. I think that's a great matchup for us. Bring on UCF. Bring on a tough team. Bring anybody. Bring Michigan State, Penn State. I think our guys can compete with those guys. Especially Smoke. Terry Wilson. All of that. Our defense is the stingiest in the nation. Least points per game, least yardage. Not even Michigan had those type of numbers, and they're a defensive powerhouse in football. Again, for basketball, I don't expect us to be the least points per game, but for the pace that we play, I think points per possession can be one of the least. I think we can be one of the stingiest in the nation. That's as well as our offense. Nobody puts up points like those mid-majors because they can't defend. Those schools like Wofford, those VMIs. I don't see us putting up points like them, but I definitely do see us getting to the high 70s, mid 80s, those range. I wouldn't be surprised if we got 90, 100 in a game. Those are the kind of games that you like to see from our team, and as well as holding guys to the mid 70s when it's a pace like that. So that's how I see it. I think when our guys, they're going to continue to develop. They're going to continue to grow, get stronger, faster, all of that. They're going to continue to be well coached. They've got the motivation. They're getting up early. They continue to put the hours in. We are going to have a national championship. Number 9. All right. That's my wrap up. Gabe Rojas on here for Big Blue Breakdown. Everybody have a great night. I'll be on here next Monday from 7:30 to 8:30 p.m. That's my wrap up. I'm hearing that, we're going to be on here a lot more often, not just basketball season, but we'll have something going on weekly, every other day, sometimes even daily. So stay tuned. Be ready for anything and tune in. Come support the guys. Share it with your friends, your family. Tune in with anybody. Leave a comment. Leave a like. Subscribe to our page. And with that being said, Gabe out.